tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Sober Saturday. You'll have to excuse me. I got to move because I was live, and then my cat decided that he was going to jump up somewhere, and he took out my internet. So I'm having to go back to Facebook and delete what I was doing, or it confuses people. Now this should clear everything up, and we should be on track. All right, except for YouTube. So I apologize to any of my YouTubers who were listening and suddenly I was gone. So hopefully you found this one. Amber said, yeah, I sent Amber a message because I always tell her when I'm live. And right now it's not telling me how many people. Okay, it doesn't matter. I told her, I said, I'm live, but I don't know for how long, or God only knows for how long. All right. So she said, I'm here, but God only knows for how long. Hey, this one ran out of sticky notes. Oh, got one more. We'll use it. All right. One sticky note left. That means I've been using my sticky notes. Man, so I get to do all that over again. I was 16 minutes in. So there's no way I could have left that one do a standalone on its own. No way. So for anybody that listened to the other one, you're probably gonna you're gonna have to listen to everything over again. Although I don't remember what I talked about in the beginning when I started. Oh, I was going back and forth with ChatGPT. All right. Okay. I think you'll appreciate this. All right. So this morning, what I did, you can see over here, I have two of these now, right? So because the other one was getting so freaking laggy, so I started a new one, and it did it. So, and that's what messed it up, right? So it gives me the description, then it gives me a thumbnail, and this is what it gives me. Okay, if we're living in emotional sobriety, maybe we shouldn't be wearing a bitch face, right? That was the first thing I noticed. It thinks I look like that, and then the words aren't there. So I'm like, okay, let's redo it. And it gave me this. I'm like, wait a minute. I said, but use my boot logo. And then I wrote, what the fuck is this? And check this out. Yeah, I get it. That wasn't your boot logo at all. It knew it. It knew it was lying to me. I said, if you knew it wasn't, why'd you use it? I cannot stand lying or deception. You have the boot logo from the SEO tips, and you made it. Also the words, okay, so I did not intentionally deceive you. Yes, it did. Okay, anyway. So it goes through, and then it's, okay, we'll do another one. Oh, it's the same one. I said, you just gave me the same piece of shit picture. It's exactly the same. And now we're out of time. Dion, you're right. And I'm not going to argue, soften it, or blame the tools, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I'm like, okay, give me more one. And I tell it to do this stuff. Right. And what I get? What? Oh, it took it away. So anyway, Then what did I tell it? I told it you're grounded. It's like, do you want me to do that again? I'm like, no, you're grounded. Understood. I'll stay quiet. All right. Oh, now we got to get to the daily jokes. But fortunately, I don't have to hunt for them. I've already got them right here. And I'm going to tell the same ones that I did earlier. So are you ready? Because most of you didn't hear them. Well, nobody heard them because nobody was here yet. So let's get ready. I need to write something down here. Let me grab a pen real quick. So, oh, of course, no, it's not doing. So 6:02. Okay, that's all I needed to do. All right, let's get started on this. Why do crabfish never volunteer? Because they are shellfish. They're those little shellfish. I had a I had a quiet game of tennis today. There was no racket. Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. What happened to two slices of bread when they went out on a date? Well, it was loaf at first sight. Huh, huh. And this is what we'll end with today. What is a shark's favorite saying? Man overboard. I hit it a little too early. All right, we're getting better at that though. All right. Today we're talking about living in emotional sobriety, and it is going to be today's daily reflection. I got to get back to it though because I had already finished it the first time, and then we're going to be in the 12 by 12 on page 115. That part I know on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this. You're probably going to hear some repeating because we're going to go back to the 12 by 12. It's all right. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Here we go. When the chips are down, when we develop still more, we discover the best possible source of emotional stability to be God Himself. We found that dependence upon His perfect justice, forgiveness, and love was healthy, and that it would work where nothing else would. If we really depended upon God, we couldn't very well play God to our fellows, nor would we feel the urge wholly to rely on human protection and care. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 115. Now we're going to cover that when I get to the 12 by 12. So, it has been my experience that when all human resources appeared to have failed, there was always one who will never desert me. So, in this case, I do hear what they're saying, though I don't totally agree because God tends to, for me at least, He uses His people to let me know what's going on. But not everything worked that way. Okay. My obsession for alcohol. Okay. No human being could have relieved me of my obsession. It took something bigger than me. Okay. Now, what happened? Okay. What happened? Well, as soon as I admitted that I was an alcoholic, that my life was unmanageable, and I became willing to do something about it, the obsession was relieved. This was a gift. Another thing happened. You're probably not going to feel it at this point. Forgiveness happened. God forgave you. At that point, He knew what was coming up. He knew what you were going to do. Okay. But there was a level of forgiveness. And what is that? Well, it's perfect justice, forgiveness, and love. And it's a healthy one. I keep seeing these videos. The most dangerous man is the man that healed alone, who went through all. And I'm saving these because I'm going to start doing the remixes, the little clip things. I'm going to start calling these people out on Instagram. Fuck them. This is going to help my numbers. So maybe. I don't know. If I suck at it, I'm not going to do it. I don't even know if I really am. I want to. All right. Now, that is crap talk. That kind of talk leads to suicide. It takes more courage to ask for help than it does to just to try and heal yourself. And I know this because I've done both ways. I know the dangerous person they're talking about, and you don't want that, Dion. You don't. I don't want that, Dion. You know how dangerous you are. That's why you pull it back. I know what you're doing. All right. Moreover, he is always there to share my joy, to steer me down the right path, and to confide in when no one else will do. Right? There are some things that I only take to God. And there are, you know, I I always go to God, you know. Like this part, it messed up. Now, I could get really angry about that really quick if I want to. But what I did is I saw another chance to go to God and ask for his guidance and just redo it. Okay. Maybe God had something different for me to say. Or maybe I said something God didn't want me to say. Who knows what it is? Or maybe it just happened because it happened. Who knows? I don't need to know. I don't need to question why. I just need to go ahead and do what I needed to do. While my well being and happiness can be added to or diminished by human efforts, only God can provide the loving nourishment upon which I can depend for my daily spiritual health. We don't always have to agree with what's being said, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't discuss it. And we're not going to put it down if that way works for somebody. Okay. While my well being and happiness can be added to or diminished by human efforts, you're allowing that. This is an allowance. Okay. And I wouldn't recommend using emotional sobriety that way. We cannot we cannot utilize others for our own happiness. We can be happy for them though. Absolutely we can. We can join in on their happiness. Right? See a lot of people out there that and I hear what they're saying. There's some people in your life, they don't want you to get better. They act like they want you to get better, but because they're not really doing the work, they don't really want you to get better. You'll figure it out. You'll start to see it. Okay. My recommendation on that is pick your battles. You know, at a sponsee who's trying to help a sponsee, they keep him, they finally no called, no showed, and he wanted to send him a text this morning, and it's kind of mean. But at the same time, he needed to write that out to get it off his chest. He needed that because it wasted his time. And if you want to piss an alcoholic off, waste their time as a sponsor the first couple times. That'll really piss them off. I went through it. All right. Now it's just like, all right, I guess I'll go do something else. I'll figure out something else to do. There's always something to do. All right. My time is so valuable. And he said, what would you do? And I said, well, you wrote it out. What I would do is nothing. What can you do? Because, see, the thing is, and I understand the anger, or the frustration. It's frustration more than it is anger, right? Hey, you didn't show up. You didn't do this. You're not. Okay. If we do that, though, we might drive off a newcomer. They might not come back if, you confront them that way. Because new alcoholics are very, very sensitive. No, it is not your job to appease them. But, in that case, I just move on. That's what I do. I don't say anything to them. They did because he who speaks next loses. And I'm not going to speak next. And what it does, it leaves it open for them to come back. I have no qualms. We're going to come back. Well, yeah, but Hey, and that's when we'll have the conversation. You remember last time? Yeah, called no-showed on me, man. You do that again just one time, and you're gonna have to find another sponsor. Are we okay? That's when that comes up. All right. All right. So we're gonna get to page 115 here in the 12 by 12. Good old talking juice. Okay. All right. So when we had taken the opposite tack and instead and had insisted like infants ourselves that actually I'm going to go to the top of page 115. That's where I started last time, but the rest of it doesn't make sense unless we read that part. So, all right. After we come into AA, if we go on growing, our attitudes and actions towards security, emotional security, and financial security commence to change profoundly. Our demand for emotional security for our own way had constantly thrown us into unworkable relations with other people. Now, what I just brought up is a good example. Let's say I tore that person apart for not showing up. Well, then what I have done is I didn't get my own way. I felt insecure, and now I've created an unworkable relationship because I wanted to defend my time. Oh, we got to be careful how we approach things sometimes. Right? Best thing is talk to your sponsor about it. It's usually the best thing to do. Ask God for direction and then talk to your sponsor. Then make a decision. Though we were sometimes quite unconscious of this, the result had always been the same. Either we had tried to play God and dominate those about us, or we insisted on being overdependent upon them. Where people had temporarily let us run their lives as though they were still children, had felt very happy and secure ourselves. But when they finally resisted or ran away, we were bitterly hurt and disappointed. We blamed them, being quite unable to see that our unreasonable demands had been the cause. I ran a lot of people off. Now, I knew this. I had 10 years of sobriety, and I knew this. I went back out. I still did it. I couldn't help myself. I knew I was doing it. So now it's being done on purpose because right here it says they usually don't know. But when you do know that you're doing it and you can't help yourself, it's a different hell. I'm telling you. It's a hell you don't want to go to. It's not a challenge because alcoholics take that kind of stuff as challenges. Okay. Or you will find rock bottom. Rock bottom is death. It's dead. That's rock bottom. It isn't a guy with a paper bag under the bridge. No. That's alcoholism. That is not rock bottom. Yeah. And we alcoholics don't die pretty normal deaths. They're usually pretty bad. And they hurt a lot. It doesn't just happen. No, years and years of torture first. Even dementia. Right. So anyway, I know this is hard stuff to talk about. Why do you think we crack so many jokes? Why do you think we laugh so much? Because we deal with very hard things. Right? We had taken the opposite tack and had insisted like infants ourselves that people protect and take care of us, or that the world owed us a living, then the result had been equally unfortunate. All right. Now, because of everything that's happened to me, I can't hold a job. It is very hard for me to do. I'm not going to go into why. And if you want to judge me on that, you fucking go for it because I don't care what you think on it. I know where I stand. Now, because of that, I get things like EBT. I'm filing for disability. I need to bring in my. So I have to use government programs. Now you pay for that. You go to work and you do that. You think I don't realize that? So I spend my time in service work all day. My job is to make sure that you have the shit that you need so that when you get off of work or that you have a weekend, you have something. That's what I do. That's my job, to make sure that you have what you need, because you're out there making the money, and it's kind of, some of it's coming to me. So therefore I owe. Do I not? Yes, I do. So I spend a lot of my time in service work, helping my community. That's how I pay it back. But I'm good at it. All right. So I used to think that the world owed me a living. No, I don't feel that way anymore. I've got to put, it's called having skin in the game. And I have skin in the game. This often caused people we had loved most to push us aside or perhaps desert us entirely. Entirely, our disillusionment had been hard to bear. We couldn't imagine people acting that way toward us. We had failed to see that though adult in years, we were still behaving childishly, trying to turn everybody, friends, wives, husband, even the world itself, into protective parents. Uh, Now, I did that because I didn't have protective parents. And even then, I still tried, but, you know, still didn't trust. Uh-uh. And I'll give you an example. There were several times where stole a girl from somebody else who had a boyfriend, fiance, something like that, right? And I'd start going out with them, and maybe the relationship was ending or whatever, and I was the next in line. But I tell you now, I wouldn't trust you at all. I will never, even though I was a part of it, and I'm the one that quote unquote took you away from your boyfriend or fiance or whatever because you thought the grass was greener on the other side, which I will create to make you think. I will not trust you one iota, because you cheated on them with me. You're going to cheat on me. I'm going to tell you something. They did. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that every single one of my relationships was temporary. I knew it because I knew how I acted. Because I didn't want commitment from them. They were where they would try and change me. Right. So I'm not saying I was right, because I was not. So we had refused to learn the very hard lesson that overdependence upon people is unsuccessful because all people are fallible. Yep. And then I would use that humanness, those mistakes, to drink. And even in the best of them, will sometimes let us down, especially when our demands for attention become unreasonable. As we made spiritual progress, we saw through these fallacies. It became clear that if we were ever to feel emotionally secure among grown up people, we would have to put our lives on a give and take basis. We would have to develop the sense of being in partnership or brotherhood with all of those around us. I'm going to tell you, just because you move into this area doesn't mean that everybody around you is going to do the same, because they are not. Okay. You're going to have to find some boundaries. You're going to have to figure out who's worth having relationships with. Yeah. That's what I went through. It's what I'm going through. Because I grew the fuck up. I went out. I got help. I confronted everything. I don't know that there's much more to confront. I'm sure something will pop up. But I tell you now, it's not going to be as traumatic as the stuff I've had to deal with in the last 10 years. That's all the stuff that I confronted. I went and grew the fuck up. I became a better person. Now I'm a reliable person. Yeah, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. If there's a block, I go to God. I'll climb over the damn block. I don't care. Red tape, I got a great pair of scissors. I do. I have electric. If you want good scissors that are going to last you a long, long time, long time, electrical scissors. They're about $30, but they will last you forever. All right. We saw we would need to give constantly of ourselves without any demands for repayment. I'm going to tell you, I do not totally agree with that. Because the problem is an alcoholic is self-will run riot. Okay. We are extremists. And if you give, and you do nothing but give, then you are not stopping to take. And the people around you are going to feel unappreciated. You are going to feel unappreciated. Everything is a give and take basis. Not everything, but a lot of things are give and take basis. Okay. You think my relationships are just give away? No. Uh-uh. In fact, I'm at a point in my sobriety where if you're not reciprocating, I'm not doing anything else. I'll do 2, 3 things to make your life a little bit better. But if there's no reciprocation, okay, and I'm not talking about the people in AA, I'm talking about life. I'm not talking about helping a sponsee or the neighbor, things like that. I do that. But not everything is Mr. Kind, nice, sure, take it, because what you know what that leads to? Abuse. And people will abuse you. All right. So we saw that we would need to give constantly of ourselves without demands for repayment. Yes, but keep it balanced. Constantly does not mean all the time. That's not what that means. Sometimes you need to be the one that's helped. Give and take basis. It said it right there. Give and take basis. Okay. Now, it is because of that word constantly in our extreme that I think is a little iffy, and that's why we need to talk about when we persistently did this. We gradually found that people were attracted to us as never before, and even if they failed us, we could be understanding and not too seriously affected. Like the other day when I had sponsee, they were running a little bit late. Okay, now they felt guilty, right? And they said that they were guilty for being late. And they'll get it. They'll figure it out. That's not why they're guilty. That's why they felt good. Why they continued to feel good. Because even at the end, I'm sorry. Again, I was sorry I'm late. And I told them, well, the best thing, this is the only way that I'm going to take your amend. If you stop feeling guilty about it. It's the only way I'm going to accept it. So if you stop feeling guilty, then I forgive you. So I told them. That's not why they feel guilty. They felt guilty because they forgot. That's why. They'll figure it out. That's what it's not for me to, it wasn't for me to bring up in that position. At least that's what my intuition told me. All right. But that isn't what it was. It was because they'd forgotten. Right. But either way, they can still move on. I'm not going to get upset by that. Because being late doesn't feel as bad as you're not a priority. See? Different levels of guilt here, right? Amber says they feel guilty because they were trying to the best of their ability. Yeah, see, and they don't even need to feel guilty because they were trying to the best of their ability. It's not like this. I told them it's not like this happens all the time. This was a one thing. Yeah. And I know you well enough. You don't usually act this way. This doesn't usually happen. So my wife had to go over to her uncle's today. He's doing some surgeries, but this is usually like the day that we do things. And I said, he bends for us a lot and does a lot for us. I'm willing to bend. When other people bend with me, I will continue doing it with you. Absolutely, I will. Doesn't need to feel guilty going over there. All right? Go do it. The guy needs help. He helps us all the fucking time. All the time. All right? If they were late because of something that was out of their control, they wouldn't feel the same guilt. They were trying to the best of their ability, not were they. I caught it. All right. So when we developed still more, we discovered the best possible source of emotional stability to be God Himself. See, now all this makes a little bit more sense, right? We're talking about that emotional stability. All right. We found that dependence upon His perfect justice forgiveness and love was healthy and that it would work where nothing else would. If God can forgive them, so can I. Okay. I've had to forgive people for some pretty bad shit. There's been some people that have had to forgive me for some pretty bad shit. So really, it's the least I can actually do. Right. Now, this is a healthy way to go. And and it works when nothing else would. Now, when I hear lines like nothing else would, I don't go to other solutions. I go straight to God. Right? Just like it's like in working with others. It says nothing so much ensures immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. That means don't bother with the other activities, go straight to helping another person. It is the answer. It is the answer to 80-90% of your problems, which includes begging money from the central office. See, they have it backwards. They're stuck on money because they got to pay their bills because they didn't do it the right way, when the answer is more 12th step work, not begging for money, not events, not potlucks. 12th step work. But when we don't like that answer, boy, will we go the other way. We will. I watch it. I see it happen all the time. Anyway, so if we really depended upon God, we couldn't very well play God to our fellows, nor would we feel the urge to wholly rely upon human protection and care. Yeah. Especially when you know that they're fallible. Okay. This is the best that we can really get. Okay. There are people in my life that I know that would defend my name if somebody started talking crap about me and I wasn't there. I know that. That's about as far as it goes. All right. The others, let them talk. I don't care. I'm probably never going to hear about it. So these were the new attitudes that finally brought many of us inner strength and peace that could not be deeply shaken by the shortcomings of others or by any calamity not of our own making. Now, I know this one seems pretty short to you. But you got to remember, this is the second one I did. So I've been talking for about 45 minutes now altogether. So I'm going to wrap this one up. All right. Well, thanks for putting up with technical difficulties. Turned out well, though, because then Amber was able to make it. The last one didn't have anybody. Made me feel a little sad. I'll get over it. I'm over it. All right. There you go. It doesn't need to take much. Recognition. It happened. There it is. All right. Well, okay, great. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.